This podcast contains potentially adult language, adult themes, definitely drinking, and possibly sexual context. Listener discretion is advised. Welcome to Drinking with Authors, the Literary Briefs edition. I am your host, Erica Lance. I do want to remind everybody to please like and subscribe. And if you would like to leave reviews, we would love reviews. It tells us how fantastic and amazing we are, or not. Either way, that's fine, but we still love reviews. I do want to thank our listeners. Again, if you want to be on our podcast, reach out to drinkingwithauthors@gmail.com. Or if you want to recommend somebody, we will hunt them down and find them and have them on our podcast so you can relish in that. And we won't give them your name, I promise. Our sponsor today is Skunk Brothers Spirits. Chelsea will totally do that. DWA10 is the coupon code. And so my co-host today is the infamous now CR Rice. I promise I won't give her your name so she can't give out the names. And our amazing guest is Bernadette Walsh. Okay, Bernadette, this is rapid fire question. Oh, we gotta talk about what we're drinking. I've had a lot of whiskey. I'm doing fine. I'm doing fine. I think people got the hang all over this. So what I am drinking now, well, what it started off as is a hot toddy, and it was really hot. Now it's sort of a warm toddy, which has Skunk Brothers Spirit whiskey in it, honey, hot water, and lemon. And it's been very wonderful and soothing to my drunkenness. CR, what are you drinking?
I am back on my vodka and green tea kick because I'm getting healthy for the end of the year. It's not really health advice, guys. Please remember, this is all sarcasm. There's been like 4 different drinks I come up with that have like Powerade or something. And I'm like, because you need electrolytes and it's healthy. It's not. I don't have a medical degree. Don't listen.
No, we don't. We are not recommending any sort of nutritional advice whatsoever. Yep. Drink water, though, when you're in between drinking. Bernadette, you are drinking a sexy cider. That's what's happening over there.
Oh, that's what we're going to pretend it is. Okay.
It could be. You never know. Cider can be sexy. Okay. So rapid fire questions. I'm sure you're super ready or completely freaked out, one of the two. What is your favorite book of all time?
Jane Eyre.
Oh, okay. Why?
Dark, depressing. You know what? I love it because it was the first like real adult book I ever read. It was a friend of my mom's gave it to me, and it was like in hardcover. It was like a really fancy book, and I've read it so many different times, and I really loved it. She was a loner, but she still was strong.
Okay. What about a book that is on your least favorite book list?
Least favorite book list? Gosh, I don't know. I mean, I read like across the gamut, right? Jane Eyre. I read the classics. I read my fair amount of trash. So, I don't want to call out an author that
okay.
You just get the book. Don't mention the author. Just get the book.
You know what? I always find something good in a book. Like there's very few books that I absolutely hate. So I'm gonna
finish all your books?
What?
You finish them all?
I almost never stop reading a book. Like even if it's awful, I want to see. I'm also a fast reader, so it's not like I'm devoting like weeks of my life to read this book. So I'll sometimes I'll skim it and get to the end, but I very, very rarely don't finish a book.
Do you prefer paperback or ebooks or audiobooks?
I don't like audiobooks. I have like my own books are out on audiobooks, but I would never listen to an audiobook. I love my e-reader because it's so like handy, but I like to switch off. I like paper as well.
Well, yeah, no, I love audiobooks. Audiobooks have become my latest thing, mainly because I can do chores and listen to audiobooks when my boyfriend is talking to me. It's very funny because you used to have the wired things. So you could kind of see if somebody, like the headphones you have on now.
Yeah.
And now I have iPods and I do this.
Yeah. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I have so much hair that I just like sit there and I'm like, most of the time mine's music because I don't do audiobooks either. I can't do it because if somebody has a weird voice, I tried it because Erica loves them. And so I was like, I could do this, but I got one series and the voice was weird. it was a girl as the main character, but it was a man's voice, or a very deep voiced woman. And it was strange to me because it was in first person. So it was like, you know, it was weird. It was weird. I couldn't do it, and it killed it.
Narrators that you like. There are some narrators that do phenomenal jobs, and there are some narrators that are followed because of how great they do with stuff, and people follow them as much as they follow an author for what books they're narrating. And then there are people that you know, no, there are audiobooks I don't enjoy because I go to listen and the narrator is like nails on a chalkboard to me, even though the content of the book is good, and I'm like, oh, no. Okay. So,
well, you know what? I actually, just talking about narrators, I used to be a huge Survivor fan. Like, I don't watch it anymore, but the early years I did. And then I did my audiobooks, and my the narrator for 2 of my books is, do you remember Jerry Manthe? She was like one of the villains on Survivors, like I think the first season. And she was a great narrator. She was really good. So
there's some narrators are just amazing. You can love their voice, and then some narrators but that's true with people talking. There are radio show hosts too for that sort of thing, or even podcasts. Like, you know, I'm a true crime junkie because I write horror. They probably don't necessarily have to go together, but they do in this case. And there are some true crime podcasts that the content is phenomenal. I can't stand the person who's doing the podcast, who's doing the reading. And then there are other true crime podcasts. I just love the people who are talking. I'm quite sure there are some people that do not like the sexy, you know, melodic sound of my voice.
who would not love your voice? Come on.
Yes, thank you. How you doing? There are people that are like, that's true. We want to hear Chelsea talk. That's a thing. I do have to ask you, what is your favorite book that was turned into a movie or TV series? Which one did you feel that they did really well?
All right, this is going to sound really crazy, but talking about trashy books, you know, True Blood. I actually read those books, like the Being Dead books, before they made it into a movie and or like a series. And I thought they did a great job. Like, I loved the books because they were like a quick, fun read, but I thought the HBO series was great as well. And then, of course, I'm a big fan of The Handmaid's Tale. Margaret Atwood is one of my favorite authors. And so I think what they've done with that has been amazing as well. Like Elizabeth, I think Moss is her name. She's great. So yeah, I think those are 2 examples.
I personally like many of the seasons of True Blood. There are some that I don't
say, there were some that were really good, and then other ones that every time I look it up, I'm like, nope, and just skip
this episode. But I will say Eric Northman, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
There is nobody attractive in that show. There is like, it was like, hey, let's
Wait, did she say there was no one attractive?
No one. I mean, Sookie's brother was kind of, if you're into the whole dopey, probably like would see his own reflection wrong and like think somebody was robbing him.
I will say this with that show that made me sad was Jason, that's Sookie's brother. Yes. I wish they had done the Panther thing with him, and they didn't.
Yeah,
that's so sad they didn't, because they took that entire story arc that they built and did such a good job, and then I felt like somebody crumbled it up on the writer's floor and threw it away, and I was like, you know, there's a rest of the story to that arc, right? There was a whole complete thing, and you bastard, you ruined it.
Yeah, no, I agree. That was a loss. But I mean, I don't know. But what about I'm really bad with names. The Sookie's love interest, the Civil War guy.
Old dude that they tried to make him look like he was an 80s rocker, and he's definitely in his 40s. No.
You're talking about Bill.
Bill, yes.
Okay.
How could you not love Bill?
No more.
See, this is going to become a Lord of the Rings thing. See, this is going to become another.
See, you thought he was an old guy, but I mean, at that time, he's probably my age.
Sometimes they put on him, like it's.
I thought he was great.
It's not, but it's everybody's types. Like that's not no.
Yeah.
I like their voices though. I have that. I like their voices.
I need you to put a cork in it right now. This is like the Lord of the Rings. I need you to zip it when we're talking on this topic. I'm making a mental note when we talk this topic to shush you, mute you. Okay, Bernadette, what about one that you felt like they did a terrible job with?
Oh, oh, I'm so bad at names. What was the the what was the HBO show with Nicole Kidman and Reese Witherspoon? It was based
something about fire.
Oh,
yeah,
I'm actually really, but no, not Little Fires, but it's by the same author. Oh, anyway, all right. Well, I thought
Googling.
that, yeah,
Yeah,
Google it for us.
You said it had Reese Witherspoon in it?
It had Reese Witherspoon, Nicole Kidman, and it had the guy from True Blood. All right.
How old is it?
It was just a couple of years ago.
Let's see.
Leanne Moriarty was who wrote the book.
They have Big Little Lies,
Big Little Lies, yes. Big Little Lies.
Little
I liked the first season, but then they should have just left it, right? Because then they took those characters and they kind of created, the second season was awful. Big Little Lies, yes, sorry. Senior brain.
I like it.
I mean, that's the one I thought was the fire one. So it's okay.
I knew that was like, yeah, no. I didn't see that one. I like Leanne Moriarty. I really like her shows. And then Not Perfect Strangers. I actually thought they did a great job with that as well.
Very cool. Okay, CR, what are your questions, my friend?
Okay, if you could be any main character, but you have to live their life and you know their life, who would it be?
Be any main character and I have to live their life. Well, it has to be somebody totally not like me. So I'm going to do 50 Shades of Grey. I'm going to be the main character in 50 Shades of Grey. Totally mix it up.
Well, that one's new.
Yep.
Okay.
Wow.
I don't want to go be a lawyer.
Right.
It has to be something completely different.
Lines, you're gonna that'll be a thing.
Yeah, so somebody can take me around in their jets and their helicopters, and so they beat me up every now and then. That's okay.
Oh my God, I almost just spit out my warm toddy. Okay.
You asked, and I answered.
Wow.
You know what? Fuck it, let's do it. Okay.
Yeah, I was about to say, and we're done. I don't think we're gonna top that.
I don't think you can. That was a solid answer. Like,
yeah, and it was very unexpected. You didn't expect this.
No, I mean, we almost saw whiskey come out of Erica's nose. That would have been a rare treat. Okay,
that book is that book got a lot of hate. Like, there's a lot of romance writers
who was a terrible book.
Bitter about that book, right? But you know what? I don't know if you read it, but it's like a fun ride. It really was. It was a fun ride.
It's like watching a train crash.
Okay,
like,
CR, can we muted right now? I will say this: a lot of people found it to be a fun ride, but I will be honest with you, I couldn't. I opened the book because so many people were talking about it. It's terribly written.
It's awful. But that's why that's what the romance is like. Oh, I could write something so much better. She caught lightning in a bottle, right? You can't hate on that. And it is like a fantasy. So it's a lot of women's fantasy. Like, and why is it so attractive? Because women,
so many better books with the same exact theme that deserved it and were out. And it's insane to me. But I mean, that's
I agree. I'm not arguing with you on that, but I think it captured people who aren't used to reading that genre. And there was something about it, you know what I mean? Because I don't normally read that genre either. But I think it captured
a lot of people who wrote the genre well got fans out of it after her book was out there. That's what I have to hope.
Because you got 365 after that one. Like, you got all kinds of better ones. But yeah. It's a good tip off. That was just then you got me. I was speechless for a second there. You fucking nailed it. Okay. Who would you want as your sidekick? You don't have to be the main character or anything like that. Like, as you are right now, what character do you want as your sidekick?
What do I want as my sidekick? I don't know. Do I want a sidekick?
I don't know.
I don't think I'm a sidekick kind of gal. I can't think of anyone as a sidekick. Maybe Sookie.
Okay.
Sookie could be my sidekick. All right.
Okay.
Oh, Bernadette.
A lot of times. Like,
I'm
you
sorry?
just set yourself up to be captured, kidnapped, sent through realms, all kinds of stuff.
Every day. You would never make it to work. I don't think she went to work after the second season. She just kept calling in. Good for her. I like it. Okay, so if you could be any mythological creature, what would you be and why?
I would be a witch. Is that mythological?
I mean, it depends. What kind of witch are you going with? Like, are you going like the old school, like horror movie witch that just comes through and is just like slicing people with the power of her mind? Are you going with like a holistic elemental?
No, I want to be a kick-ass like evil witch. That's what I would want to be.
All right, so Bernadette, you're just dark. That's what I'm getting.
Read the book. Read the book.
I love that.
I like it. That was
I look like a kindergarten teacher, but this is what's really inside.
You have to go on the YouTube channel if you haven't and you were just listening to this.
Yeah.
YouTube channel.
What was the name of that book that best describes your inner fire there, Bernadette?
The Devlin Witch.
But
like
remember her online cover is different. So you have to watch these.
You'll find it on her website. Okay, so do you write reviews?
You know what? Now I do. I always write reviews. I don't write them on Amazon because my husband and I share an Amazon account, and so it's under his name. So he doesn't want his name out there reviewing, 50 Shades of Grey. But I always am very, very conscious of Goodreads. I always review everything Goodreads under my Bernadette Walsh name. So.
Very cool. Do you do the review even if it's not a great review, or you
always... I'm very harsh, so I actually will give a very, very honest review.
You see that? She's so dark.
I know.
All right, I like it.
Like we went into literary briefs.
See you in the courtroom. Like you're just shredding people. Me and Erica are gonna show up with popcorn and watch you at trial.
I'm not that kind of lawyer, but anyway, I'm a boring lawyer. But this is where I get my. No, I think yeah. All right, next question. I'm liking these questions now.
Okay. What is your favorite weird food combination?
Oh, I'm not really a foodie. Weird food combination. I will have pretty much anything with like sour cream and onion dip. So I'll put,
What
pretzels,
do you mean pretty much anything?
Like sometimes you're only supposed to have chips with it. I'll like whatever's around, I'll have it. Like piece of bread, anything. Is that weird? I don't know. I'm not really much of a
like cookies. Person. Like are we going super?
No, I guess I wouldn't have cookies. I guess I don't have a good answer for this question. So maybe we need the next one. Talk about I don't know. Okay. I'm not a food person really.
All right. So how about you are wandering around, you find a duffel bag full of $1 million, nobody's around. What do you do?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one. Well, my inner Catholic schoolgirl would say, I have to take it to the police and turn it in. But I'm not sure if that's what I would do.
Okay.
What would you do? Here's a question. What would you do?
Oh, I'm traveling the world. I'm starting a foundation and I'm traveling. I'm
really?
Bitching. I'm not saying a damn thing. Yeah, nobody's gonna know.
Wow. See, you know what though? It's the guilt would get to me. The guilt would get to me, and then I'd be all afraid that I'd get caught somehow. So yeah.
I think Erica just bailed on us.
I think we just lost her. Hopefully she'll dial back in. It's still recording.
All right. Let's keep going. Let's see. What is your writing kryptonite? You're on a roll. One thing happens and you're done. You can't do it anymore.
Well, sometimes I just get like we talked about this before, like at the 10,000 word mark, and it's like all of a sudden it's you're back, yay!
Mountain internet is so much fun, but that's okay. It makes it interesting.
So we're talking about my writing kryptonite. So what makes me stop writing? I think if I just lose interest in my main character. Sometimes like I just like that 10,000 word mark, I have nothing more to say about her. So that's the kryptonite, and then she's done.
Okay.
Okay. Did you have one more, Chelsea?
All right. What is your guilty pleasure?
Reading trashy novels, of course. That's my guilty pleasure.
Yeah. I like it.
All about trashy novels. I enjoy
Everybody
them.
does. There's no way somebody doesn't.
Yeah.
Just like.
So have
Anyways.
you gotten to meet any of the authors that you're a huge fan of? Have you gotten your fangirl moment?
Well, I got to talk to people actually on the podcast, and I was a big fan of Kristen Higgins, and I've met her a few times in person, and she was on my podcast. I just found, especially her earlier books, like it's like taking a warm bath. Like whenever I was having a bad day, like I could just slip into a Kristen Higgins book. So yeah, she's somebody I met in person. And she's lovely. Like she's almost like one of her characters. She's so like nice and friendly, and see, she's a happy person. That's why she can read romance. She can write romance so successfully. I am not, as you found out. So
there's a whole dark streak to you that I enjoy. Okay.
Right?
I'm gonna give you the final question, my friend.
okay.
Oh, I get the final question. This is
You
so
get the
much
final
stressful.
question.
This is always so stressful for me. Let's see, what crazy depths can we dive into here? Okay, what is something that you have placed on your I will never do again list? Your anti-bucket list.
Well, this is going to sound funny, but I actually stopped drinking about 15 years ago. I'm not an alcoholic, but I went out once with my husband, and I woke up with the worst hangover, and my daughter was a baby at the time, and I was like, I can't do drinking and motherhood. So I stopped drinking. I used to love to drink a nice glass of wine, but believe it or not, I do not miss it at all. And I'm surprised so that's one thing I will not do again.
Yeah, it's as we're both like, yeah, cool.
Probably not good with your
Such a
sponsor.
good goal. Oh my
Probably not good
God.
with your sponsor. But it's so funny because like it's amazing like how people kind of judge you when you don't drink. Like it's weird. Like I'll be out and they'll be like, oh, please have one. I'm like, no, I really don't want to. And they're like, oh, are you in recovery? I was like, no, I just like one day just stopped, it's like stopping, people quit smoking. But anyway.
You know what? We have a ton of authors that come on this show. Like Jenny Lynn Knight's been on twice. I love her. Her drink of choice is hot chocolate. Has nothing to do with being recovering or anything like that. She just loves hot chocolate, and that's her thing. And it's totally fine. And some people just it's drinking with authors. It doesn't say drinking alcohol with authors. That would be a really long title.
Believe me, I had plenty of fun. I had my dance on a bar stool, days. But anyway.
There you go. See, I get kind of the opposite. Me and my husband, like once a week, we sit together, we have a couple drinks. We don't get wasted. I think that's the issue too, is like, so if you don't drink, they're like, oh, you're an alcoholic. But if you do have a drink, they're like, oh, you're a fucking alcoholic. It's like, no, every time you have a drink doesn't mean you're drinking to get drunk. Like you can just have a glass of wine or in my case, liquor, and like go to bed. Like,
yeah. No judgment with me. You know what? It just didn't it got to a point like it didn't react well with me. So I was like, I don't really need this. So
we have one of our co-hosts that developed an alcohol allergy in her late 20s. Literally,
that's almost what it turned into for me, right? It really was that's a perfect example for it. It was just almost felt like an allergy. Like I used to love my husband. I met my husband in a bar, so like we used to go out a lot and in Manhattan and elsewhere. But after I had my daughter, I don't know if that like changed my body chemistry or what. But after that, I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, well, it does. Okay, shameless self-promotion time, Bernadette. Tell us where to find you.
You can find everything on my website, BernadetteWalsh.com. I'm on Twitter, BWalshWriter. I have a Facebook fan page. On Instagram. So you can find me pretty much anywhere. And also I used to have a podcast, which is still available, called Nice Girls Reading Naughty Books.
Very, very cool. You have been an absolute surprising delight.
Surprising.
Thank you so much for being here.
Well, I had a great time. So thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely. This has been the Drinking with Authors Literary Briefs podcast. I have been your host, Erica Lance. Our sponsor is, as you see me close my eyes and remember this out loud, Skunk Brothers Spirits. DWA10 is the coupon code on their website. I'm sorry, Ciara, you're cheering for me to totally mess that up. And Ciara has been my amazing co-host that's rooting for the bad guys. And our guest again has been Bernadette Walsh. And we will see you guys next time.